Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. If anybody's not aware of this is a journey with an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In today's video, we're going to be looking at some important developments from the SEC. We're also going to be looking at MMTLP and all the lawsuits that are building up. We're also going to be looking at the biggest catalyst for AQST Aquestive Therapeutics, and this is a catalyst that could potentially lead to a 10x in the stock. So before we get started, let's have a quick look at what's happening in the market. So first headline here from the Wall Street Journal. The Dow Jones has gone up more than 500 points. Bond yields climb after strong jobs report. The other important news in the market is Apple. Apple shares have been rallying, and they have been having a significant impact on the S&P 500, giving overall confidence to the market and driving many of the sectors and the stocks up. So we have a look at the heat map here. Almost every sector is doing exceptionally well. Microsoft up, Google up, Amazon, Tesla up in excess of 5.6%, and driven largely by Apple up at time of editing just in excess of 5%. But if we have a look at other news now from the banking sector, headline here from Reuters, it states here, exclusive, US officials are assessing possible manipulation on banking shares. So most of the people watching this channel will know about market manipulation, and now obviously it looks like the bankers and the banking stocks especially are also referring to market manipulation. So let's see what it states in this Reuters article, and it's now saying that US federal and state officials are assessing whether market manipulation has been causing volatility in the banking shares. Banking shares have been going down very, very significantly, but surprise, surprise, short sellers have raked in in excess of $378.9 million in profits. So whenever there is bad news for any stocks, it generally means good news for short sellers. So bankers here we can see are urging the SEC to look into manipulative trading. So remember, one of the key problems I have from a short's point of view is they do make money when businesses fail, especially tech companies and also especially bio companies, because these are more higher risk. So if we have a look at a tweet here from Roger James Hamilton, he has stated here that the American Bankers Association is urging the SEC to investigate abusive trading, and obviously they have told Gensler that it was unalterably opposed to short selling practices that distort the markets through manipulation and abuse, and now banks are joining the fight. So this is potentially huge news. The banks are certainly much more powerful in the market, and one thing that I'd like to know is, especially if the shorts have been attacking the bank shares, well, how is it possible that they can borrow these shares to short the banking stocks? So that's something that I think is an important question to ask, and I think it also demonstrates that there are a huge number of bad actors around. Let's now have a look at news from the SEC. So in just a post shared earlier today, they stated that we have today announced the largest ever award, nearly $279 million to a whistleblower whose information and assistance led to the successful enforcement of SEC and related actions. So this is very interesting. It's also a huge award, $279 million to a single whistleblower, I am sure is unprecedented. And I'd like to give a shout out here from Tony, who I believe also deserves a significant payout, as well as other people as well. So he stated here, due to a FOIA released by the SEC, with regard to MMTLP, it looks like FINRA knew about the MMTLP short situation for a long time. When it came time for the shorts to close, FINRA pulled a U3 halt, and can Tony get a whistleblower reward now? So I'm in favour of Tony getting a whistleblower reward. If you cannot give him $279 million, I'm sure he'd settle for $278 million. But let's continue with MMTLP and the lawsuits. So shout out here to Metamaterial News, MMAT News, and it states here, FINRA currently has 4 lawsuits filed against them in the state of Florida, California and Washington, and 1 petition filed against them in the Supreme Court of the state of New York. So there are more cases, as well as the 4 that I mentioned. So shout out here to Rare DD, and it states here, let it sink in, FINRA is fighting up to 8 lawsuits related to an imbalance in MMTLP. In any one of those cases, FINRA can show the judge that the blue sheet data refutes the allegations. So if FINRA wants to win all 8 cases and they win because they are telling the truth, then the blue sheet data should back them up if they are telling the truth. If the blue sheet data doesn't back them up, then they're not going to reveal the blue sheet data. They're going to come up with some other story. So looks like FINRA are in a very, very tricky situation. So the question here is, why are they not releasing the blue sheet data? What have they got to hide? If they want to declare their innocence, prove their innocence, let's have the data. Finally, I'd like to finish off by having a look at AQST. So this was something that was called out recently in our weekly watch list, and we were looking at conditional FDA approval and also significant building of momentum in its share price. So if we look at just the close of this week, I think today it was up close to 4%. At one point it did get very, very close to $2.40. There was a little bit of a sell-off just before close of market, but over the previous 5 days still up very, very close to 57%. But what I'd like to focus on is the key catalyst that could potentially lead to a 10x in this stock, and that is Libervant. So Libervant is something that's trademarked. It's looking at meaningful contribution to improve patient care. The FDA so far has granted tentative approval. It is a trademark, and this is something that is looking at being prepared for a commercial launch. If approved for US markets, it's going to be obviously an oral rescue therapy for patients with seizures or seizure clusters. So in the United States, we're looking at 1.2 million people with epilepsy. So a huge, huge market. But as well as that, there's going to be a huge worldwide market. So let's have a look at the latest developments in terms of this advancing treatment options for epilepsy. So this drug is obviously looking at being administered inside the cheek, so that's fairly simple, fairly straightforward, and obviously it's looking at hopefully controlling seizures of patients. So Aquestive Therapeutics have developed Libervant as an alternative to device-driven, invasive, inconvenient and difficult to administer alternatives. So this will have a huge, huge advantage. And what I'd now like to focus on is the section right at the bottom in italics. Aquestive has received conditional acceptance of the use of this trade name, which is subject to final FDA review and acceptance. So that's the key thing. It's subject to final FDA review and acceptance. So that once that news breaks, then I think that we will have a significant game changer in the medical field for epilepsy, and Aquestive Therapeutics will be one of the stocks that everybody is talking about. So congratulations to everybody who is obviously making profits on this now. So this is a stock that was previously featured on the channel. At that time it was trading in excess of $6. It has come down quite significantly. I think it was it did go below $1 at one point as well, and now obviously making a little bit of a comeback, but this is the key catalyst to watch. And finally, if you'd like to get advanced notification of DD and other stocks, as well as daily stock alerts and weekly watch list, where we look at stocks such as AQST and also TOP, you can certainly join for less than $9 a month. Information is available in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.